To you, my dear audience, I dedicate my performance. I wonder, did I bring a little more joy into your lives? You don't have to answer that. But if the answer is no, then you'll break my heart.
SAMPO KOSKI. SAMPO flipping Koski. Since the Astral Express crew entered Belobog, he's caused both trouble and progress for the Trailblazers, and in the end, he ran away from everyone yet again. And with the special scene we got in the Trailblazers is sort of dream. You can choose to say it's a dream or not. Players are into camps when it comes to their thoughts about SAMPO KOSKI, and I'll paraphrase a comment that someone left of this clip of Yuki Violeta from Najisanji. You either want to love him or you want to kick him straight into his balls. I used to be in the latter camp, but now I'm in the former camp. Who still wants to give him a straight kick into the loins? And yes, he's turned into one of my favorite characters in the game. And it's thanks to this ever-growing brain rot that has led me to a rabbit hole regarding discussions about SAMPO as a character and what Hoyoverse might have in store for SAMPO as the story progresses. I understand if many of you don't want to venture into the toxic pools of Twitter, but luckily my journey through that hell site has been good by far. And has led me to threads discussing some observations fans have noticed about SAMPO, and also some theories on who SAMPO actually is. I will leave links to the threads in the description below. What I'm doing is to just spread the shampoo agenda on YouTube. Those who compiled the information in very concise and detailed threads deserve the likes. So please take a look at these beautiful people's profiles at the links down below. Also, I want to shout out Central Finite Curve, since I will be discussing their theories about SAMPO in this video as well. I also want to shout out Kashi Swanson, because him pinning my comment about SAMPO was what really inspired me to push to make this video. Alright, enough stalling. Let's talk about SAMPO KOSKI. SAMPO KOSKI. SAMPO flipping Koski.
Me? I'm just an easygoing fellow that looks out for the little guy. Free of charge, I might add.
When March, Danhung and the Trailblazer first set foot on Year 06, the first person they meet is Man in Snow, who we later come to know as SAMPO KOSKI. SAMPO is described as a merchant of sorts in the same vein as Dory from Star Rail's sibling game Genshin Impact. And yes, like Dory, he can scam you if you enter the wrong deal with him. Ask this guy, he got scammed by SAMPO through buying an overpriced printer from him. He also got along with Serval at one point and even had her fix some machines he would bring her. However, something happened between the two and SAMPO says that they are no longer friends and Serval wants nothing more than to have her brother Jeopard, aka the captain of the Silver Main Guards, to arrest him for his crimes. And thanks to said crimes, he's earned himself this wanted poster drawn by Jeppy himself. This means that he's a wanted criminal in Belobog and has to always evade capture from Belobog's police and military, the Silver Main Guards. However, he has something to say with how Jeopard wants to capture him.
Oh, we see each other pretty often. Usually it's me running away and him running after me. Gotta say, I'm gradually beginning to enjoy the attention.
Yeah, if you wanna know why people like to pair SAMPO up with Jeppy, that's why. While he has committed crimes up in the overworld, in the underworld, he kinda helps with wildfire. It really depends on who you ask. SAMPO did share that he helped Natasha with getting hold of medicines when he first came to the underworld, and Sela shared that SAMPO can be helpful or not. Soon after, he not only gathered things for Natasha but also intel. That's all he said. Okay, but I think it doesn't take a scientist to know that someone like SAMPO would be the type of person who would sell such information for profit. Hook has a funny thing to share about SAMPO, and it's that he's always out and about, and it's made her think that he's always out on expeditions like she does. Also, I read somewhere that SAMPO did play hide and seek with Hook at some point. I apologize, but I thought that was just a cute little fact to mention. Actually, if you go and ask Hook herself, she will not let you say anything bad about SAMPO. She is aware the adults call him a bad guy, but she doesn't want to believe them, since SAMPO has shown kindness towards the underworld children and even plays with them. The way that SAMPO can go from the overworld to the underworld of Belobog is through a passage that SAMPO has described as a big stone spiral stairway that he believes was built by the architects of Belobog. When the Trailblazer, Dan Heng and March arrive at Belobog, he has both helped them and screwed them over. Sampo has led the trio to the silver main guards who granted them entry to Belobog, sedated them and Bronya with his bombs, before bringing them down to the underworld, was there as they fixed things down there, and abandoned them, and Sela, right after he led them back up to the overworld through the passage he took. After the crew dealt with the Euro 6 Stellaron crisis, March forced us to use our VIP pass at the Grand Gruffa Hotel, and as you make your Trailblazer sleep, you have the chance to get a special cutscene where Sampo is talking to someone or something. In the dream, he says a lot of interesting things. Here's a summary of what happened in the cutscene. He said how he's okay being a comic relief rather than a main character, called Epsilon a giant Vanity Fair, and shares a quote he believes which pertains to true happiness. And most bizarre of all, referred to the audience directly, one-on-one. This cutscene alone has basically fueled many to create theories about Sampo and even questioned the actions he's made in the story so far. So now that I've taken the time to explain Sampo's involvement in the Euro 6 storyline, I'm now going to share with you all of the theories the Honkai Star Rail community has made about Shampoo as of 1.2.
You haven't heard enough about me, huh? Alright. My name is SAMPO KOSKI. I'm a businessman who stands up for justice in his free time. And no, I don't have it in for you.
This was actually one of the most popular theories about who exactly Sampo is working for a time. I'm certain there's people who still believe this, especially since Silver Wolf has mentioned someone in their ranks being named Sam. Sampo is suspected to use aliases that sound similar to his name. In the Boulder Town Super League event, you have the chance to get an opponent named Sampy, and our Trailblazer can't help but say that this opponent feels very familiar. So it's possible to say that the Sam Silver Wolf mentioned to be along with the Stellaron Hunters could very well be Sampo doing his part to play his role in Leo's script. However, thanks to the release of the new Kafka video, many people are saying that this is the Sam Silver Wolf was talking about. I'm still uncertain if the big robot guy is Sam, but I'll let people believe what they wanna believe until this theory is confirmed. Many have started to reconsider Sampo being a Stellaron hunter once they gained a better understanding of Star Rail's lore. When the game finally launched, people wondered how Sampo would have known about the Outsiders being a part of the Astral Express. March, Dan Heng and our Trailblazer never told him about us being a part of the Express, and that we arrived at the planet via a train. So, how else would he have known about the Astral Express and indirectly led them to solve the 700-year-old Stellaron crisis? That's when people went,
oh, clearly Sampo is one of the Stellaron hunters. That has to be why he's actually helping the Trailblazers.
Like I said, some people have started to reconsider believing this theory regarding Sampo once these people have gained a deeper understanding of the other entities that are perhaps keeping a close eye on the Trailblazers' journey through the route Akivali once took. Who else might want to put their gazes upon the Astral Express crew? Who else but some of the most powerful entities of this game? The Aeons of Honkai Star Rail. Let me briefly mention the Aeons for a bit, because I will go into detail one specific Aeon. For those who don't know what the Aeons are powerful beings bestowed with great power in Star Rail. Each Aeon provides power to their respective path in the Star Rail universe. Think of how each Arcan and Genshin Impact has an element associated with themselves. Venti being an Emo, Nahida being Dendro, so on and so forth. Aeons also happen to be the absolute representation of the paths all of our playable characters stride on and draw their abilities from. Oh yeah, I'm certain people are still unaware what the playable units are called. They are called Path Striders, if you didn't know. This is the same as calling the Genshin playable units or those who have visions in Genshin as vision bearers. As I said earlier, I'm not gonna do a comprehensive explanation of each of the Aeons and what they do. If you want deeper dives about the Aeons, I suggest these videos. I will be basing what I know about the Aeons from what I've gathered from videos made by Hello Zen and Doofy TV. These very same videos are also where I got to know about Aeons and in particular, the Aeon evolution and the two factions that are underneath them. Now, if you've seen Central Finite Curve's video about Sampo, you might have an idea on who is. As Central Finite Curve said, is very strange for an Aeon. This has to do with the fact that is very unpredictable and potentially very dangerous. Even Herta has said so. For starters, the parable that is said to be Aha's origin story describes how they became an Aeon after climbing the highest point of the tree of existence. Once they arrived at the top, they saw a baby fall down and cry. And what did Aha do? Aha just laughed at it. They laughed and laughed and laughed. They laughed at a small baby suffering. Aha kept on laughing, and it's said that very laughter reverberates through the cosmos to this very day. The faction that praises Aha is called the Masked Fools. According to a famous singer in Star Ale, Aha will never give you up, never let you down, or abandon you. He will never make you cry, say goodbye, or tell a lie and hurt you. Since they worship Aha, the Aeon has granted them many blessings. Some of the members of this faction also have a tendency to cause havoc wherever they go, since they go out and about on their quest at entertaining themselves. Aha also has another faction that is doing their best to go against the Aeon and take away the universe's allure from the Aeon. This faction is called the Morning Actors, and they practice penance and celibacy in hopes to dissuade Aha from their quest at pursuing joy. They do this because they believe that life is filled with ups and downs, which means that people must experience agony and hardship so they can mature. The Morning Actors believe that Aha's pursuit of cheap entertainment would only lead to humans losing themselves. You'd think that, since this faction wants to get rid of Aha's fun, Aha would be against them, right?
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
The Morning Actors never had the hindsight to realize that sadness and joy are the opposite ends of each other. Two sides of a coin, as they say. And Aha might like edgy humor too, like an edgy 12-year-old on Reddit, because they also granted this anti-faction their blessings. Aha is like Oprah, where they give out blessings to anyone who is in their audience. Aha be like, you get a blessing, and you get a blessing. Everyone gets a blessing. When you encounter Aha in the simulated universe, and not haphazardly click through the text like I did, you will read some of Aha's mannerisms, way of speaking, and the fact that he's aware that he's just a line of code in a simulation. Aha basically broke the fourth wall when they met you in the simulated universe. There's also the fact that encountering Aha related events in the simulated universe don't always get the same results. It's almost as if Aha himself will only decide to reward you, to punish you, or to ignore you, because Aha felt like doing so. As if I needed more RNG in another Horrorverse game. Basically, Aha is a powerful being that does what they want whenever they want. I'm certain a lot of you are now asking why I'm focused on talking about Aha for a video about Sampo. Shouldn't I mention 6, who is the Aeon of Nihility, since Sampo is a Nihility character? Well, 6 really hasn't shown any involvement towards Sampo at all. If anything, 6 just happens to be the Aeon of the path Sampo strides on. Instead, I mentioned Aha because understanding Aha could give us some clues to figuring out who Sampo really is, and who Sampo might actually be affiliated with, or even who Sampo actually is.
True happiness always entails the manifestation of the dignity of mankind. Now that's a quote I live by.
At first I didn't open up to the possibility of Sampo gaining power or blessings straight from another Aeon, since Sampo strides on the path of nihility, and this path is overseen by a pessimistic black hole who my people have called the Forbidden Obihalaya. Yeah, 6 is just basically a sentient black hole that makes people feel nothing but despair whenever anyone comes close to it. However, I remembered that in Genshin that vision bearers can have visions of different element that don't coincide with that of their Archon. Think Aya, who believes in the Raiden Shogun, but wields a cryovision. Alright, back on topic. So what is an emanator anyway? Thankfully, the game's loading screen answers that question. So it says here that an emanator is a path strider who has power that came straight from the Aeons themselves. Each Aeon can make their own sets of emanators, and these individuals are said to be more powerful than the average person. With the power of an Aeon at their arsenal, emanators are said to usually be the enforcers of their respective Aeon's will. As of patch 1.2, we've met like 2 of them. One is Herta and the other is Fantilia, with the former being one for Naus and the latter being one for Nanook. Naus chose Herta because she was really smart, I guess, and we've seen Fantilia spreads destruction in her own twisted way of ruining worlds from the inside. Now, what has made some people believe that Sampo is an emanator of Aha then? I didn't open up to this idea myself. That was until I found out that Aha can not only give blessings to those who venerate him, but also to those who actually are against him. Remember me mentioning the 2 factions that are under them? Yeah, one of them hates Aha, remember? We can never tell who or what will become Aha's playthings, because only Aha can know who or what will become their next toy to play with. One time, Aha gave their entire power to a singular worm, just to see it enter the Genius Society. After this whole endeavor, Aha took back their powers, which made the little wormy die in what I can only imagine being a very agonizing death. Rest in peace, wormy. That means it's very possible that Sampo might have encountered the Aeon of Elation at some point and did something to gain Aha's attention, and, in turn, got powers from Aha that perhaps only Sampo and Aha are aware of. Let's hope that it's just enough to keep Sampo alive. I really don't want another character death to happen yet again. I'm still coping. Also, take note of how Sampo has acted during the story quest. Let's see, there's the fact that he keeps on disappearing, and that he keeps doing stuff that's unusual, and that he's only appeared whenever he feels like it. He does what he needs to do, and he's gone in a flash. Not to mention that it seems that he's aware that he doesn't want to be the main character, and that he wants to be a comic relief. It seems that Sampo is very self-aware with the fact that there's a greater story in play, and that he wants to play a smaller part in the grand scheme of things. He knows a lot more than what he likes us to believe, and this has led to some people believing in the most extreme interpretation of Sampo's connection to Aha. Yes, there's now a handful of people who believe that Sampo is actually Aha, or at least a physical manifestation of the Aeon of Elation. Alright, so what brought upon this theory? It's not like Aha has turned into a human before, just to mess with the Nameless before they did. Aha totally did. This happened back when Akivali was alive. Aha managed to shapeshift into a human and hung out with the Nameless on the Astral Express, the train itself. They actually managed to stay like that for about a year or so until Boon. Aha not only blew up half the train, but an entire planet along with it. So yeah, with Aha still around, but with Akivali and the old Nameless being, well, dead. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Aha gonna pull, or is pulling the same trick again, but in a different form, and with a new set of Nameless who are none the wiser to Aha's tricks. Also, Aha probably blew up the train with bombs. Bombs. Who else do we see uses bombs? Also, take a look at how Aha presented themselves at the simulated universe. Aha does have a vague humanoid form, but it's overshadowed with the mess of circus doodads and masks that are floating where a face should be. If Aha can make themselves look like this, and can look like a human at some point, maybe perhaps they can look more human sometimes. Alright, what else has gotten to think that this guy's also this? Well, it's how Sampo keeps disappearing at the most inappropriate times for our protagonists. Like, you know how in the Year 06 story quest, he keeps on disappearing whenever he wants. He also reappears whenever he feels like it. And if you chose to bust him during the Belobog museum event, he will actually disappear from the hotel room as soon as you take your eyes off of him. We have yet to see any other character display this kind of ability, and I'm certain that people have labeled Sampo's disappearing act as a sign that he's displaying powers only an Aeon would have. We are still early in the game, so we still don't understand what exactly are the abilities each Aeon displays, but we can speculate in the meantime. Alright, what else have people connected Sampo to? Aha, what else were they? Oh yeah, it's Sampo's vocabulary and mannerisms. Yeah, they are similar to how Aha acts in the simulated universe. I have a more so Ice and Safi to thank for this, since their tweet threads helped me notice the similarities at how Sampo and Aha act. Here are some of the similarities they share. 1. Sampo and Aha broke the fourth wall. 2. Aha and Sampo both bow at some points when they present themselves before to the players. And 3. They both have a tendency to act not only very theatrically but also very unpredictably when you meet them. There are also parallels between Aha and Sampo with how one of Sampo's eidolons is called infectious enthusiasm, a phrase used to describe Aha in the simulated universe. Also, there happens to be an achievement called Versatile Joker which you can only get if you use Sampo in your teams. Safi has pointed out that the name and theming aligns with that of Aha and possibly the Masked Fools. Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I say that this is probably the craziest theory there is about Sampo. It'll be crazy to know if one of the most annoying people we met on our journey ends up revealing that they're actually a god. But people have thought of crazier stuff. I've heard around the grapevine that some people have speculated March of all people to actually be Fury or someone related to the Aeon of Remembrance. Of course, these are all theories. We are all just letting our imaginations run wild and having fun with these characters until Hoyoverse will come rushing in and reveal everything in like the next 10 years or something like that.
Back when I first arrived in the underworld, I used to bring Natasha the medicines she needed. I did that for a while, and before long it was medicines and intel. You know how these things work.
Since much of Yarillo 6's inhabitants are human, Sampo appears to be a human from the planet himself. Or is he? During patch 1.1, Hoyo updated the game for us to see a playable unit's information when you open the character menu. That makes it easier for us to get to know the characters we already have. When you open up Sampo's character profile, you will see that his faction is Belobog. But, of course, many are now unconvinced that Sampo is truly from Belobog. Why is that? Well, Sampo goes up and down between the two sides of Belobog, the overworld and the underworld. This is strange, because it appears that he is the only one who found a way to go past borders at the time when both sides were closed off from one another. Not even those who originally came from the overworld could get a chance to go back to the surface even if they tried. Yes, some people have noticed some things about Sampo that show that he's not a native Belobogian. So, yeah, in short, he's showing signs that he is not originally from Yarillo 6. Like those from the Astral Express, it seems that Sampo is an outsider who came to the planet a while before the Nameless set foot on the planet. So, what has made people consider that Sampo is an alien to Yarillo 6? Or that he's not from Belobog in the first place? Well, it had to do with taking a look at Sampo's idol animation, Sampo's splash art and Sampo's very own light cone, Eyes of the Prey. If you haven't pulled Sampo's light cone yet, because gacha be damned. Sorry about that, but don't worry, because Hoyo was nice enough to make a short based on the art in Sampo's light cone. Why do I bring this up? Well, take a look at the light cone. Did you notice it? Oh yeah, I need to remind you that light cones not only work as weapons in the game, but also light cones represent very important moments of a person's life in Honkai Star Rail. It is safe to assume that Sampo's light cone is an important moment of his life because, you know, Sampo is on it. And not only do we see Sampo on it but also some other stuff too. I'm certain not a lot of you notice it, but here, let me bring your attention to some of the details in the background. Take a look at this guy right here. Do you notice it? I don't blame you if you didn't, because the details can be easily missed. And if you didn't notice it, let me point your attention to the guy in the background. Do you notice it now? If you don't, then I want you to take notice of what the background guy is wearing. The person doesn't appear to be a silver main guard. The person is not wearing a silver main guard uniform. As a matter of fact, the person appears to be wearing what appears to be a suit. Now, we have seen what the Belobog citizens wear and we have yet to see them wear suits that are of this make. Also, take note of what the person is holding. You see it right. It's a gun. But not just any gun. The gun that person in the background appears to be wielding also doesn't appear to be a Belobogian weapon. As pointed out by Sapphire on Twitter, take a closer look at the guy in the background of Sampo's light cone. The attire the person is wearing is too modern to be from Belobog. All silver main guards all wear the same outfit, unless they happen to be in a higher position such as Jeppert as a captain and Bronya as the general. Also, we never see any of the guards or even the underworlders use pistols or handguns. Yes, Natasha uses a huge grenade launcher, but my point still stands. Besides, the Eternal Freeze has affected Yarillo 6's technological progress for hundreds of years. So, the evolution of their weaponry has not changed as it does in our world, aka real life. Also, if you played through the Belobog Museum event, you'll notice that all the currency you ever used to pay for stuff in Belobog are shields, which are coins. Apart from the shops that accept credit, we never see the paper bills Sampo has in his light cone, or in his idle animation anywhere in Yarillo 6. So we can assume that whatever dollar bills that he's counting in his idol is not from Belobog and is probably from where he originated or wherever he came previously before setting foot on Yarillo 6. Let me also mention that many have observed the overhead view that's found in Sampo's splash art. Many have noticed that the cityscape in Sampo's splash art doesn't match to any place anywhere in Yarillo 6. So it's possible that Sampo has pulled a Kafka at another place that's not Belobog. Of course, there are some holes to this theory, and I found it while gathering footage for this video. So I found that in the background, there's this poster right here. I found posters of a similar look at different parts of Belobog, so you people might be wrong that Sampo is an alien. But, it's still a fun little idea that our funny man Sampo hails from someplace else like the rest of us. Whether he is from Belobog or not, I hope we do get to see where Sampo might have come from, because I really want to know how Sampo ended up wanting to scam people all the time, and I really want to know what other role he will play in the story as it progresses.
No cash.
As a scammer I mean businessman, Sampo has to sometimes don disguises and aliases to act out his schemes, I mean his business ventures. During the Belobog Museum event, he uses the alias Mr. Coldfeet and had an upperclassman named Norbert to be the frontman in his scheme of stealing museum relics for him while he puppeteers the operations behind the scenes. With Norbert acting as the scapegoat for the heists, Sampo managed to evade suspicion from the Silver Main Guards, especially since he's shown to do kind gestures towards them. Also, Chavez keeps referring to Sampo as the Dark Blue Scam. Chavez has gone as far as to make a group called the Dark Blue Scam Victims Association, who go on and spread awareness of Sampo's scams. Those are some of the names and aliases we know Sampo goes by. Now, let's go ahead and cover the other right entities he goes by. Because oh boy, they are really interesting in my opinion. Madame Bruegel Poison. Madame Bruegel Poison. Madame Bruegel Poison. You know how, when you usually open a character's character story, you usually get a story of their past and how they ended up being the person that they are right now. Well, not Sampo. Instead, you get logs taken from a woman who calls herself Bruegel Poison. She interviewed some guards, set up some goons to get captured, and got warned by a Silver Main Guard that there's a man disguising himself as a woman to fool said guards. I'm certain that is someone we probably know. And yes, if you ever saw art of a blue-haired lady in a dress, tagged as Sampo Koski, yeah, people do believe that Sampo can pull off dressing as a woman, really well. Some people believe that Sampo actually shapeshifted into the appearance of a woman, which also led to people to believe he has the ability to shapeshift, but of course, this is not confirmed, and just some fun little ideas some of the Sampo fans like to play around until this will be confirmed or disproven. Alright, we covered some disguises we know he takes on. Let's move on to suspected disguises Sampo might have too. I'm not saying that Sampo is currently acting as Dun. I'm saying that he's probably filling in Dun's place as the keyboard player for Serval's band, Mechanical Fever. Let me explain. In the bio of Dunn's profile, it reads I'm not in mechanical fever. Leave me alone. Now, why is that? Well, it's probably because some people think that he's still playing the keyboard in his dream girl's band. There's a comic where Serval is playing in front of an audience with her band. In this band, we have Pella on the drums, Jeopard on the maracas, and Silly Party Blower. And another person on the keyboard. This person appears to be a silver main guard who we can find around the silver main guard restricted zone. However, we can't be sure that this is actually done. And why? Well, Sampo has mentioned in his character introduction on the Hoy Lab page that one of his hobbies is helping out with Serval's band if they are short on members. He claims that he can learn to play instruments really fast. Of course, he said that he will only do this if Serval will pay him. Also, it seems that Serval and Pella are aware that he can disguise himself as a silver main guard. Now why is that? Yeah, I'm going on the record to say that maybe, just maybe, he disguises himself as Dunn so that Mechanical Fever, Serval's band, will have a keyboardist since the actual Dunn is no longer playing for the band. I mentioned this earlier, but the silver main cannoneer that we probably beat the living shit out of during the boxing event is possibly Sampo, since our player character says that fellow felt familiar to us. And remember that Sampo did say himself that he does disguise himself as a silver main guard every once in a while. So, it does sound like something Sampo would do. A lot of people can earn big money just by fighting in the fight club or betting on the right fighters. So, we can safely say that Sampo disguising himself as a silver main guard is a way for him to earn some extra coin for his pockets. My friend first gave the idea that maybe, just maybe, that the strange cloud knight that aids us is actually Sampo. You encounter this NPC in Venom Loom, Immortality Bloom's mission where you infiltrate the disciples of Sanctus Medicus. And yes, people have found the NPC to remind them just a tiny bit of Sampo.
You weren't holding back? Enough with the jokes already. It's a miracle either of us is alive.
Of course, this is just all made in speculation and all in fun. People just really like the idea that Sampo can dress up and stuff. Now this is a segment of the video where I just have fun and point out some fun facts about Sampo Koski. Alright, so yeah, it'll sound weird but Sampo is Finnish. Also, I don't mean that he's from Finland, but that his name is Finnish. And yes, there is a quote-unquote right way to pronounce it, and that's
Sampo Koski.
That makes him the second character in the game to have a Finnish name. Oh yeah, who's the first? That would be Welt. And yes, for those who didn't know his backstory, Welt's birth name is actually
Joakim Nokian Virtanen.
And yes, it's Finnish. Sampo's name is possibly derived from a magical device said to be able to make a never-ending supply of flour, salt and gold. Meanwhile, Koski is a Finnish surname that can mean rapids, as in rapids you can find in a river or a stream. A friend of mine did send me this. I don't know where he got it, but according to this fact he shared it with me. Hoyabus might have thought themselves clever, because Sampo's name might be a low-key way of saying fast cash. Also, I wanna go a little bit more local with the next fact, but Sampo is Tagalog of saying the number 10.
Isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat, lima, anim, pito, walo, siyam, sampo. Sampo.
Holy shit. There's 10 of him? I didn't play through Belu's story quest yet. I'm taking my sweet time, since I don't wanna burn myself out playing this game, like I did with Genshin. But I heard that there's a Sampo cameo when you go out and help Belu with some things. How does he know we're here? Okay, editing Amira here, and I'm here to correct past Amira about Sampo being mentioned in Belu's character quest. he's not in there. Instead, the note from Sampo actually comes from a secret quest you can get after interacting with one of the courier packages around the Luofu. So, this implies that he's on the Luofu like we are. We'll need to wait and see if that's correct or not. Okay, what else can I add here? Alright, so this is what Sampo's phone case looks like. Sampo is the only playable character to not leave footprint in the snow. Sampo's Japanese VA is also that of a JoJo character, and Sampo's NVA is also that of Gnarls from the Fire Emblem series. And that's it. That's the Sampo video I wanted to make since, I don't know, June. Did I just spend the precious hours of my life gushing and discussing just one character in a gacha game, just to say how he might be important in its story later on? Yes I did. But hey, I started working on this back in June, and went back to working on it this month, because I was very busy. And why was I busy? Well, it's because I've been out and about selling my merch over at different artist stalls at different events. I have a Star Rail merch as well as other fandoms such as Genshin and other of my favorites. If some of you like the stuff I've shown, don't worry, I plan to open a shop store for that. For now, I do have a Google order form open to sell any leftover stock I have. However, I have limited shipping orders to the Philippines. I apologize to those living overseas, but I'm still figuring out international shipping, so yeah, you will have to wait. Alright, shameless plug over, and now let me shamelessly go ahead and say thank you very much for watching this video. I make videos to pass the time, so it really makes me happy that people like you are watching my silly little videos. Oh yeah, I'm certain that I left out other theories about Sampo, like how he's probably a Masked Fools member, but I didn't include that one here because others have already covered it, and you should watch the videos that do. I will probably make a follow-up to this video when new stuff about Sampo arrives in the actual game. And this is probably the part of the video where I say to like and subscribe, since I don't really have a proper uploading schedule, and you will all find the Sampo follow-up video in your notifications when it's ready and stuff. Oh yeah, I need to mention that if you guys have any thoughts or ideas you wanna share about Sampo or anything related, in the comments down below. And that's about it. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I almost forgot that I also wanna take the moment to thank those who made the videos and Twitter threads that were a big help to making this video possible. I also wanna thank Sue and Aki Miyaozu for lending their voices to pronounce some stuff I can't. Alright, with thanks given, I need to go now and prepare for my next artist alley, and until the next video, I want you all to take care of yourself. See you.